Hey, welcome. It's Captain Matt, Boater Secret Weapon. I want to thank you for joining us for this Sunday night live. We're getting ready to start here in just a couple of minutes here. We'll start about 8:30, but I wanted to welcome you. If you've never been to a live, here's what you can expect. Just go ahead and chat in your comment section, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube. Just ask your question, leave your comment there, and then as we go through the time, I just kind of scroll down all the comments and I try to answer them. Now, if it's something that I need to ask you a question, I may ask you a question and just put it in the chat again, and I'll come back and I'll get that information so I can give you a more personalized response, something that's going to really add value for you. This is just something I do. One, it's great fun. I really enjoy it. It's helpful for the community. Just sharing my knowledge. Now, one thing that you need to know, I don't know everything about boats. I know a lot about boats. I've been a boater since I was 5. I've sold boats. It's something that is a big part of my life. With that said, I don't know everything. Matter of fact, sailboats, have zero experience with sailboats. Bass boats, very little experience there. Bow riders, deck boats, center consoles, jet boats, twin engines, stern drives, outboards, inboards, all of that I have experience with. And if I have an answer, I'll give you my best answer. If I don't have an answer, I'll try to give you a resource that will be valuable for you. If I have an opinion, I'll try to give you that opinion, but let you know this is what I think, not what I absolutely know. So I look forward to it. Here's a little video intro that a subscriber made for me. Thanks, Bo. And we'll see you on the live when it kicks off here in just a moment. Welcome everybody to a Sunday live. I know we've been off for a couple of days. Sorry, I was getting my water while we were making the intro. Hopefully you guys can all hear me. Let's see if we can adjust this camera. All right. So here we are. We are live. We are back. Chad, welcome from Washington State. Finally, 70s. Missed my boat, jet ski. Had a boat parade here this weekend. Feeling pretty darn good. Very nice. Welcome, Chad. Ray, night parade here. Very good. The 4th of July is not quite here, but getting ready for it. Rob, good to have you. Jason, welcome from Kansas City. Great boating weather. Jason, I am from Omaha, and we go to the Lake of the Ozarks. Matter of fact, my family's got a place there. We've been going there for there we go. See if that will since the 79, I think was the first year we went there, since I was a wee little kid. If you ever make it over there. Let's see here. Dustin, welcome from Houston. Good to have you. Kings of the City, welcome. Good to have you back. Ray, hit that like button for sure. Always appreciated. Yeah, so here I'm trying to figure out. I really enjoy doing these lives, but my girls are getting older. And so them going to bed at 8:30, 9 o'clock isn't the norm now. Them going to bed at 11, 12 o'clock, which means on Sundays, we're still having fun. We're still we're still getting out, and it's sun's still out. You know, it's still enjoyable. Matter of fact, it's even nicer because it's been about 100 here. And so if we're doing something outside, if we're on the water doing whatever, we're still doing family time. And so I had my birthday and Father's Day. I had some surgery done, and just was building the garden with my daughter. I think was last weekend. So I'm trying to decide if I'm going to continue these. 8:30 Sunday at 8:30 isn't going to work. So if you guys have any suggestions on times, I don't know. I want to keep doing them, but I've just got to figure out how to make them work, make it work into my everything else that I've got going on. Yeah, another Washington guy, Bo, up in Washington area. Let's see. Little thank you for all you do. Thank you, Bo. I much appreciate that. That is always very, very much appreciated. And I really do enjoy these. It's my number one priority in life is my family, and so I make pretty much all decisions based on what's family time, good quality family time. And so I'm trying to figure it out, and any suggestions, any comments will be taken into consideration, because I really appreciate the core group of, 20, 30 of you that are on, virtually every weekend, that I've really gotten to know, really gotten uh, to be friends with. Like this is, let's see if I can do this. That's not where I want that pulling up. Let's see here. So this was, I don't know if he's on. I didn't see his name, but this is, come on, do what I want you to do here. This is Jason and Michaela in where's my next button? Jason and Michaela in Kentucky on Cumberland, sporting their boater secret weapon gear after a day on the water. And so, getting to know all you guys is super fun for me. And so I was just, matter of fact, was talking to my wife about it at dinner tonight, and how I'm gonna go forward and continue figure out how to keep doing these in some form or fashion. So JD, welcome. BC Outdoor, welcome. Let's see. Rob, welcome. Herb, good to have you. Approach the 4th. Any word from dealers on sales? We'll do that. Let's see here. Danny. And I'm getting another thing. It was my 50th birthday the other day. So what was it? This Father's Day, the 16th was actually my 50th birthday. And I just cannot see anymore. So this is a new look for me. Let's see. I'm really wanting my next boat to be a center console. However, I'm torn between a Yamaha and a Yamaha Outboard. So, Danny, it depends. It depends on what you're going to do. I think Bo alluded to it. Is the shallow waters jet boats are more appealing because you don't have to worry about tearing up your prop as much. You do have to worry about sucking rocks up in if you go with like a Yamaha jet boat. So my question to you would be, Jerry, thank you very much. That very, very much appreciated. From you another long time supporter and long time just contributor to the lives and to the channels. All right, let's see here. I'm out of practice. I think I've been off 3 weeks, and now I'm can't do multiple things at once, I guess. So Danny, here's what I'm thinking about when you ask your question is, where are you located? So are you on the coast? Do you want to, if you are on the coast, Are you near shore? You're just going to be in the waterway, in the bays, in the rivers, maybe a mile or so offshore, near shore, inshore, or are you really going to fish that center console and you want the ability to go offshore even a little bit, more than a mile, and you're really going to be fishing the boat? In that case, I lean more towards the center console with an outboard. If you are just going out for fun and you're going to be doing some tubing, and some family, and you like kind of ripping around, and that's what's got you thinking Jetboat, um, there's advantages: more fun, really sporty. It's got the sound, the higher RPM, the more sports car feel. Okay. Now, where the Jet Drive where the Yamaha Jet is going to, and I'm assuming you're talking Yamaha Jet Boat, so like an AR, 21 AR or a limited or something like that, a Yamaha Jet Boat, not a Yamaha Jet Drive. And if that's the case, then the whole conversation I'm off. So, why don't you chime in on that? Tell me where you're at. Are you talking Yamaha Jetboat versus just a center console with the Yamaha outboard, or are you talking Yamaha outboard propeller versus Yamaha outboard jet? The type of water and what you're going to be doing out there, and then I'll come back to you, for sure. All right, so we'll come back there. Let's get through here, Captain Herb. So summer sales rush materialized to a certain extent. What happened from the dealers I've talked to is up through Memorial Day, good. Sales were what you would expect. After Memorial Day, things started to slow down, and there's still traffic, but buyers are more slow to make a buying decision. Partly interest rates. I'm going to say partly the election cycle. We just had the debate, which was, I didn't watch it. Of the highlights I saw was embarrassing for the United States. Those are our candidates, but this isn't a political show at all. So, but there's some nervousness in the marketplace. So here's what I'm seeing is dealers are holding off on making large orders for 25, which makes sense. They still have some 23s on the market. The 24s have been selling in certain categories not, certain regions not. There's still a lot of localness and niche by niche going on. Some areas doing real well. Wake boats not doing well at all. Some of the higher end, it's not the value, and it's not the twin engine, the pontoon. There's that mid segment of pontoon that's doing real well. So we'll call it 60,000. This is crazy to say mid tier, 60,000 to like 120,000 of the pontoon marketplace still doing really well. Some of the center console market still doing pretty well. The value has really slowed down. The really, really top end in some categories has slowed down a little bit, because a lot of those buyers, I think, can come out. There's other areas of the marketplace that, wake boats are the big one that I'm seeing that have tightened up considerably, and the interest rates, things like that, are what's doing it. So, what are we going to see here after the 4th of July? I think we're going to see a lot more manufacturer rebates. I think we're going to see a lot more dealers getting aggressive with their inventory and discounts. And I think we're going to see a lot fewer 25 models hitting the showroom floor. And I think you're going to see dealers being a lot more conservative on what they order for the coming 25 season. So that's sort of what I'm seeing there. Yeah, Rod, exactly my thought there. And Rod is a dealer in Brunswick, Georgia, that has some center console bow riders. I think pontoons over there as well. Ellis Marine. Um, River or deeper lakes. Okay, so river, deeper lakes. Tell me what you're looking at doing um, on the water. Because yeah, what Bo said is either will do the trick. Like there's a pluses and minuses to each in that situation, um, and it's a matter of what you're. Here's the way I ask it, and if you haven't, Danny, if you haven't gotten my Boat Buyers Toolkit, grab that. It's free. BoatBuyersToolkit.com will get you a free copy of it. It really depends on what you're going to be doing on the water. Do you just want the sporty ripping around, and are you talking Yamaha Jetboat versus center console with an outboard? Are you talking Yamaha Jet Drive on a Yamaha outboard or a Yamaha propped outboard? That's still, now that you say rivers, that is something that I want to just make sure. I'm assuming you're talking boats. Um, yes, daughter got the cast off. She did basketball camp the last 2 weeks, and she was wearing a brace, but now the brace is off completely, and she is back in business. So um, that thank you for asking about her, Ray. She is doing good, doing very good. Um, Maryland in the house. Welcome, Rich. Good to have you. We use Smithville Lake at LOTO on occasion, Lake of the Ozarks. Um, I don't know Smithville. I don't. We either boat. I'm in the Carolinas now, so but my family either boated in small, tiny, teeny tiny Nebraska lakes or made the trip all the way down to the Ozarks. Efficiency with the jet, unless you're operating very shallow recce, Yamaha would be best. Um, let's see. Thank you again, Bo, Danny, Lake Norman, Danny, or Dan, Danny, and Dan. Yeah, so I'm just a little bit closer to Lake Wiley, but do get out on Lake Norman quite a bit as well. So good to have you, Dan, from Lake Norman. Cancel lot. Yeah, that might be Kings of the City. I think that might be the play, is because bedtime goes back to 8:30 when it's school time, but school's out, and plus everybody's on the water, including me, and so that might be what we do, and so we'll see. I'll talk it over with my wife and my kids and figure something out. Um, all right, and thank you very much, Jerry. Very much appreciated, John. Good to have you back. Um, Thank you for the happy birthdays. Only 50, still a youngster. That things are changing quick. The glasses, the aches, the pains, but doing pretty good for 50. My Regal lost its engine coupler while idling out of the marina at the end of May. Got it fixed along with new bellows, gimbal bearing, trim. 5500 coupler is a known faulty design. I did not know that on that. So he's running a 28 Express, Regal Express, with the Volvo. I want to say it's 5.7s is what you got. I'm not sure if it's the GXI, but I think that's what it is. Um, but yeah, that's interesting. So did they? Is it aware? What is that boat? 3 years old? Yeah, dang, that's 2019 Volvo. I was just looking to see if there were um, a bunch of. I'm not seeing a lot of comments on there, but this would be an issue that I'm guessing the dealers would be aware of and probably not posting a lot about it. Interesting, interesting. Thank you for passing that on, Jerry. Um, was it? I wonder if was it just one or was it? That's a single? That's a single, I think. Um, yeah, 20 watching, 6 likes. Now we're up to 30. I'm just seeing one like. I guess maybe I can just see the Facebook likes. Maybe that's what it is on my screen. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. Let's see. Yeah, it's very very regional in the people that I'm talking and just the pockets. It's interesting. It's interesting the pockets that you're seeing. Volvo just revised coupler part, stronger splines, Gen V engines, 6 weeks. That sucks. Like I cannot for the life of me understand how the marine industry um, has a faulty issue that they're they don't they stand behind just the letter of it, but not the integrity of the brand. And it's not just Volvo; it's all of them do it. All of them have done it over the years. They've got a serious known issue, but hey, they don't do a recall. They don't let the dealers know, hey, this is something that we need to address. They just let it break, let their customers have a bad experience, and then just chalk it up to, that's boating, things break in boating. And it's the reason why there's such a churn out of the boating industry. Like, I guess they feel if you love it enough, you'll just put up with the shit sandwich and you'll take it. And I think it's such a lost opportunity for the industry as a whole to uh, approach it that way. And yeah, that's disappointing. That's really disappointing, Jerry. I'm guessing you're more upset about it than I am, or more disappointed than I am. Okay, Yamaha Jetboat versus Yamaha Outboard probably end up the river, deep lakes. Okay, so in that case, the reason I would go Yamaha, or I would watch my video all about jet boats, right? So the reason I would go Yamaha is because it's sporty, it's quick, it's going to accelerate, it's going to handle like a sports car, and it's going to be fun to zip around. You don't have to worry as much about dinging up the prop because you've got that impeller. What you do have to watch out for is if you're pulling up on sandbars, if you get in any shallow areas, that intake can suck up a rock, can suck up a twig, and that can cause some damage. You probably deep lake, so we don't have to worry about that. The advantage to the Yamaha Outboard is it's going to be quieter, it's going to be smoother and more comfortable in rough chop, because on a jet boat, we'll just use this as an example. On a jet boat, you don't have the ability to trim the angle of the engine versus here's my Outboard. Versus on the Outboard, you can adjust the angle, which can adjust the nose of the boat. So in rough chop on that big lake, especially, or in the river, if you've got a lot of traffic, you can get that bow high attitude, and then you can smoothen up that ride and use that nice deep V of the center console, whatever brand you get, to slice through the water. Versus the jet boat, you don't have the ability to adjust the angle of attack with the trim, because it's always going to be shooting straight out, and you always have a steady angle of attack except for when you accelerate. And so you get up on plane and there's really no more acceleration. You're just riding at about this attitude, and the water's going to be hitting the boat about right here. Versus when you get that bow up with the Outboard, you can get it to hit about right there, and it makes it a lot smoother. Um, Maintenance, different, but I'll call it equal. Um, I'm trying to think if it's a real dirty river, does that make it? It really doesn't. You'd have to flush your outboard a little bit more often. Um, but that's not really a huge concern. Um, yeah, it's more around what are you going to be doing, who's going to work on the boat, and quiet, more comfortable ride, loud, louder. I say louder, different sound, more sporty sport car ride versus Cadillac ride. Like soft, quiet, comfortable, smooth versus quick acceleration, sharp turning, more sporty sound. Just that whine of the sports car. Those are your balances. I don't think there's a wrong answer unless your lifestyle pushes you one way or another versus what I shared. Got a Tahoe 700 IO 6.2. Do I really need to trim down the motor each time I store it in an outbuilding? We use it once a week. It's I'm gonna if you're an you don't have to. No, here's what happens is the bellows when you have it trimmed up, the bellows are stretched. Okay, so when you stretch the bellows, you're putting a little bit more wear on them. When you push it in, it's less wear because they're not stretched, and also less likely that something's going to get in there and start nibbling on it. Okay, so do you have to? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't worry about it much at all. And if you're on a trailer, yeah, you don't want your bellows to go bad, but they're less likely to go bad when you're on the trailer and they're not in the water all the time. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. I would. I mean, I don't know if you're salt. If you're salt, you need to be flushing it no matter what. And then I would tilt it down just to drain as much out as I could. But I'm not too terribly concerned about tilting it down, especially in a building. I don't want critters to get up in there and start chewing. And if you're using it that frequently, it's not sitting in that position stretched out for months at a time. That's not a great situation, but it's also not the kiss of death either, Jason. So I wouldn't be worried about that. Worried about that at all. Boat Trader, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. No. So Eric, there are other marketplaces out there. The right answer is all of them. So you go until you find the right boat you're looking for, right? I don't care where I find my boat. I care that I find the right boat for me. So there's not one single place to go to because it's a little bit fragmented. Boat Traders, the 800-pound gorilla for dealers, for larger boats. Facebook Marketplace, you're going to get more person to person, just individuals selling on Facebook Marketplace. Craigslist, you're going to see lower priced boats, older boats. Offer Up, I'm not sure what Offer Up is. I've not heard that one. But there are also Offer Up. So Offer Up. Okay, yeah. So this is more Craigslist-esque, the type of boats that are popping up here. Um, Kind of what I would expect. I've not ever shopped there, but you'll also it depends on what you're looking for. So use pontoon boats for sale will give you Boat Crazy is another one. You can see Boat Trader that's popping up. Pontoons Only is a pontoon listing site. I have talked with a company that is going to compete with Boat Trader in that listing side of things. That has a pretty good platform. I saw a beta of it a couple weeks ago. That was pretty impressive. You've got only inboards. Yeah, onlyinboards.com is going to be your surf boats kind of place. Center consoles only. You got center consoles only. That's just going to have center consoles. So you're what you're looking for, and they've also got a lot of reviews. So you'll find these pockets of, depending on exactly what you're looking for. There's different sites that are available, but the answer is, doesn't matter. There's not one listing site that's better than another. Like the only one you need to go to. If you're looking for a used boat, you want to go to all of them and then find the perfect boat for you. And it just takes a little bit more legwork is all. But I would say Boat Trader, newer, more expensive boats, Facebook Marketplace, if you want to buy from an individual and you don't want to buy for a dealer for whatever reason. I don't know why that would be. Craigslist, if you're looking for a little bit less expensive, older boat. OfferUp, I would say, but based on the 2 seconds I was just on there, similar to Craigslist. And then if you've got a very specific style of boat you're looking for, then you can go to, what was it, Pontoons, the pontoon site, center consoles only inboards, and you can go to your specific niche. Chris, I'll be right back with you here. Evening, Captain. Please be safe out there. A couple of young girls accidentally hit a boat with their wave runner. Yes, it is the people that are on jet skis and wave runners. I am always cautious of it, just because it's too easy. People think it's so easy to jump on and go that, oh, anybody can do this, and they let their young kids go out on these machines, and they don't realize it is probably the most dangerous thing that you can do, because they're so quick, they're so maneuverable, and they are not aware of their surroundings in a lot of cases, because they don't have any of the boating experience. So yeah, that's unfortunate. It's scary. It is very, very scary out there, and you see it way, way too often, in my opinion. All right, so let's see here. Boat history report. Why am I not finding what I want to see? Pricing and values on boats. All right, so there's a lot of options that I don't know. So what we're going to do, and I am going to recommend that you do something, or you see if you can get your hands on something called, say, 2018, something called sold boats. It is something that Yacht World offers. It's like an MLS of boats sold, typically larger vessels, because, in 2018, Sea Ray they definitely made less than 100. They maybe made less than 50 in 2018. I don't know what the exact number is, but they didn't make many. So, and if you're talking that 400 fly, I don't know if they made anything. So, Chris, I know you've been on. I want to say you were looking the SLX. Tell me if that's right. Are you looking SLX or Sundancer? Okay, I see it there. All right. So the 400 Dancer, yeah. So they definitely made less than than 100, 400 dancers in 2018. They probably made less than 50 of the, well, they probably made 20 of the 400 flies in 2018, but definitely less than 100. So there's not many to go with. I'm just going to use my zip code here in the Carolinas. Now, this is where it gets interesting because there's a lot of options on these larger boats that can bring the price up. So I'm going to leave all of those off because unless they added some, FLIR or some major electronic stuff, I'm just going to go with the base boat. We obviously don't have a trailer on that. Come on. Sea Ray. And then the other is, I should have gone to Yacht World. The other is freshwater versus saltwater. So I don't remember. Well, I don't know why I'm thinking that you were in the Chicago area. I don't know if that's accurate or not. But I also thought you were on an SLX because I remember you've been on the lives before, but I am just going to, here's a 2018. All right, so listed at 525. Let's see what the old value says. So average retail 460. Again, that's average of anything that's sold. If you noticed when we looked at the listings, there weren't a ton of any one year. It was onesie twosies on the year. Let me go back. I want to pull up Yacht World as well. Yacht World has more of the, yeah. So we've got two 2016s for $499, $474. Those are both an Atlas, San Diego, both saltwater. 2016. There's a 400 for $525. 2017, 514. 17, 430, 469, 439. Looks salt. Yeah, so not a ton of them listed, but they're 400, 500,000, and we're seeing 460 on average retail. So you go low retail, what is that, 20%, 60,000, say 15%. So you go about 15, 20% on the high side. So that gets you to just, let's say 510. 10% gets you to 5. So we'll say 520 on the high retail. So I'm looking somewhere from 460 to 520 is sort of about what that boat's worth. If they've got anything crazy added extra, that's going to go up a little bit, and you'll know the options better than me. So I don't know, if it's got pod drives, if it's got just straight inboards, if it's got the bigger motor versus the smaller motor, if it's saltwater, if it's freshwater. Those are all going to impact the price. So let's see if you chimed in here on, let's see here. I'm not seeing. So yeah, so that's what I'm looking at. I would really try to get that sold boat, and then also get into the options. So freshwater V drives with the Cummins 500 hours. Not concerned about that. Joystick system. I'm going to say most of them are going to have that. Bow thruster, they're going to have that. Dinghy, that's a bigger option. Where's this one at? 525. That's not a significant option, but it's something that not a lot of them would have, especially if it's got it's got the davits back there, and the extended swim platform. So what I'm looking at is all of those different options, but I'm looking to be in that window of 460 to 525. And then, if I found the one that I know is right for me, I'm going to kind of look at those bigger major options, and I'm going to make my offer at 450. I'm going to be so low that they're not going to accept it right out of the gate. Not so low. I'm not going to be down to 400, but at 460, that again, some details in there that's going to get me in the conversation started. But I know that they're not going to say yes right out of the gate. They're going to say, well, we can't do 460, but what do you think about 500? Well, what do you think about 475? And you'll come into a number that's, I would say, probably below 500. Feels, well, again, without knowing any of the details, there's a lot of variables, but feels like probably, hey, that seems like a good number. You see that there's, again, it depends on where you're at, depends on how many are nearby you, depends on, hey, you've got to figure transport fees. If you got to ship this boat somewhere, whether it's running it up and down the coast, whether it's hauling it across land, there's additional expense that you have to figure in. And then if you see something like, all right, so this one's in Clearwater, Florida, if I've got 2 or 3 of these 2016 to 2020, 380 to 420, if I see several of those, now I know I can be a little bit more aggressive in my offer, because there's a lot of them that need to sell, and I can use that to my advantage. If there's only one of these in my general surrounding area, and it's the only one that's within 2 feet plus or minus, through 2 or 3 years plus or minus, because that's how people shop for these type of boats, is then, hey, they're going to be a little, on the selling side, they're going to be a little bit tougher to work with. But there's also this type of buyer, or this type of seller, tends to be more concerned about speed of transaction than a few extra bucks. Tends to be. Not always the case, but they usually have something else they're moving into. And so there's some, hey, let's just get this out of my hair. I'm not super concerned about an extra 10 grand. Generally, big stereotyping there. So hopefully, Chris, that's helpful for you. And I will keep looking for you if you have something else. And thank you for the contribution. 90% fishing. Danny, I'm gonna lean towards Outboard for you. 90% fishing. I'm gonna lean towards Outboard because I don't see, one, if you fire up that jet, the vibration, the sound is gonna push you away from it's gonna push the fish away. I don't see any big, huge advantage, other than maybe fishability on the back, because you don't have to worry about getting your lines hung up. But I think the disadvantage of every time you crank that motor, you've got a loud sound, you've got a water sucked in and shooting out, and you're disrupting the fish more with that setup. In my opinion, of 90% of its fishing, just another thing to think about. And reliability, I'm going to go with the Outboard. It's just, there's more technicians to work on it. The Yamaha, they're super reliable, don't get me wrong. The jet drives, super simple, but I just feel better about the Yamaha in that situation. When you talk about easy to maintain. Come here. This is little Molly making an appearance. She likes to get some attention sometimes, and so that would be another thought. Mercury just announced 5-year warranty incentive. Yamaha had it until today. Imagine it'll, yeah, yeah, for sure. They will extend that out. I would be shocked if it's gone forever, but probably gone until after the 4th of July, and then they'll pop it back in again, or something similar. Smith Lake, Alabama, Tennessee River, North Alabama prospects. Yeah, I'm gonna, Danny, with all the additional information you're adding, fishing, you're not in shallow rivers. I think you'd be happier with the Yamaha on a center console than the Yamaha boats center console, the FSH. I think that would be where I would not steer you, but I would lean that direction for what you're telling me. I agree. I think it's lives are especially over the winter. I'm your little touch into the boating world when it's freezing out. And it's everything else works except going against Sunday night football. But you can use Brock's approach with the split screen. Me on one side and the football on the other, or me on the little screen, football on the big screen. That works as well. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, Rod. Is that is the outboard? The more and more I thought about it, the more and more he said is that that outboard feels like a better fit for what the situation and what you're looking to do. Very nice getting out on the water. So for you, those that don't know, I don't remember what the year was, but that's not the. I thought I had a better picture last time. Last time I pulled it up, there was a better picture, but sorry. Sorry, BC. I couldn't find what I was looking for there. Love your content. Great work. Trailer versus Marina question. Jacob, first of all, thank you very much. Okay, so Marina is 99% of the time, I'm going to say Marina is a better option for ease of use. Okay. So a Marina, it's, you got the boat. Now, all right, I say that. Questions. What kind of boat? Outboard, stern drive, inboard, jet boat. What type of boat is it? Second is, do you like to explore? So here's why I asked those two questions. My initial reaction is Marina all the way. Marina is easier, more convenient. You can run there, jump on the boat, uncover it, and go. The only downfall is spider poop and birds. Is you've got to worry about cleaning it, especially if there's covers. But it's still, I would still lean Marina. The downside with the Marina is you're leaving the boat in the water all the time, unless it's a dry stack. If it's a dry stack, that's even better for convenience and less cleaning and maintenance. Unless the boat above you is dripping some fluids, then it pisses you off. But Marina's better there. It's more expensive though. Trailer, you pay $100 a month and you're in a lot, hook up and go. And you have freedom of waterways. So you can hook up and you can go to anywhere that you want. But it's a hassle. You got to go, you got to hook it up, you got to trailer it, you got to get in the boat ramp, you got to mess with all of that, you got to load it back up, you got to wipe it all down, then you got to put it back in the lot. Maybe you can put it in your driveway, save a few bucks, but there's hassle associated with that. That's how I grew up boating. And with my Trailer Like a Pro program, with experience, you can get really, really good at being a trailer boater. I mean, my brother and I, but when my brother turned 16, He started driving for the most part. I handled the boat. He backed the trailer, and we could have that thing on and off. I bet we didn't spend 2 minutes at the boat ramp. It was we got prepped. Everything was in the boat. I backed off. Did a lap around the lake. He parked the trailer. Everybody met me at the dock. We got loaded up, and boom, we were out in the water for the day or for the week or whatever. And you have freedom to go wherever you want. It's cheaper. On the Marina side, more convenient, but you do have, if it's a stern drive specifically, and you're not on a lift or you're not dry stored, you've got maintenance issues that you've got to be aware of. Even if it's an outboard, at least the outboard you can tilt all the way up. If it's a jet drive, I don't love leaving jet boats in the water. If it's like a switch, don't leave that thing in the water. Matter of fact, I just got an email from a guy that bought a switch, and he told me he's leaving it in the water in a slip. And I've got to respond to him still saying, don't do it. It's going to be bad. It's going to cause problems. So there's some other caveats to consider, but Marina, you use the boat more, it'll be more fun, easier. Trailer, it's cheaper. It's easier on the boat, less maintenance. But you do have to have the hassle of it. 2019 5.3 liter, 200 hours on the engine drive. Yeah, I know it's well maintained. That is one thing I'm 100% certain of is that it's well maintained. I'm gonna say 3 liter DPS 2018. Perplexing stern drive alignment. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some digging on that, and put that out there if you don't mind, if I use your anecdote to let people know to be on the lookout for that, especially if they are coming up on that warranty time period. Assuming I live 5 miles from the marina, money's no issue. Space at the house, can get in the water every weekend. 28. Yeah, I would do it at the marina. I think, Jacob, with that you'll use your board. Just think of it this way. It's Thursday night. You get off work, 6 o'clock. It's beautiful out, and you're like, let's just go for a cruise. You can run down, pull off the center console T-top cover, whatever kind of cover you got there, jump on that baby and go for a 2-hour cruise. Come back, cover it up, and be done for the day, and have a good sunset cruise or a little late night fishing, or go to a restaurant on the water, whatever. And you can do that without even batting an eye. But I guarantee what you wouldn't do is hook up to it on the trailer, go to the boat ramp, drop it in, park, then go 2 hours to a restaurant, come back, load it back up on the trailer, and haul it home. You'll get more use out of the boat because of that one reason alone, especially with the marina being only 5 miles from the house. And you just get to bypass all of the nonsense at the boat ramp. And the other thing I think Jerry will agree to is you'll meet a little community at the marina. You'll meet people that you click with, that you didn't know, that you start boating with, that you become friendly with. And there's a sense of community at the marina that you don't get when you're a trailer boater. You come back, and as you're wiping down the boat, as you're cleaning everything up, getting the covers on, there's other boaters that you're going to see. It's like another set of neighbors. It can be good, can be bad, but usually it's good. Another set of neighbors that you click with, and you open up your boating world. So that's another reason why I would go marina. Please, just pickle juice. Oh, that's good. By the way, Ray, we haven't got an update for you, but hopefully all your stuff is going well. Also, um, since you asked about my daughter, uh, should people worry if their local dealer has little inventory, never got 24 or 25s in? You know, eh, maybe, maybe. I would, for them, maybe it was a situation where they said, "Hey, we're not sure what's going to happen, so we're just going to take a step back." Maybe they don't carry a bunch of inventory anyway. Um, but the dealers that I know that didn't bring any 24s in, and have no plans to bring 25s in, were wrapping things up. They were making adjustments, but some said, "You know what? We're not happy with our manufacturer relationship. So the manufacturer is pushing too much stuff on us, especially in 24, and we just didn't feel comfortable. We didn't feel like we wanted 30 of their boats. We didn't feel we could handle that and could smooth them, could turn them fast enough. And so we dropped that manufacturer, but we couldn't find a new one to bring in. So we just took that model year off. With that said, it's tough to keep the lights on if you don't have new major units to sell. When you're a dealer, that sales drives service business, drives parts and accessory business, and it's a big, it's big chunks, 10, 15, 20, 50, 100,000 per sale depending on what they're selling. So it is unusual, but there are situations where, okay, I could see that making sense, especially with some manufacturers putting ultimatums out there that, hey, if you don't take this many of this model year boats, if you don't commit to this many, then we're going to pull the brand from you because we got somebody else that will. And some dealers are like, that's fine. If you want to play that game, then we'll look for a better partner, and that can happen. So it's there's like almost all of my answers, there's nuances to it that I would need some additional information. Um, Floating trash bags. Randy, you're gonna have to give me a little more than that. I don't know. I don't know what that means, but I'm also not the smartest person on this live right now. So let me know what you mean. Welcome, Brock. Jacob, if you can store it inside, say trailer for sure. Save money. Nice having the boat where you can keep an eye on it. That Jason, that is very true. Is having it in eyesight makes it easier to do stuff on it. But with some of the like uh, this is a company that you may have seen, Boat Fix. They've got an app and monitoring system that you tap into the ECM, you hook it up through the NEMA cables, and it monitors everything that's happening on the boat. You can monitor, hey, is the bilge pump going? What's the battery connection? It's got GPS tracking, so you know the boat's where it should be. And you've got all of this data. They also have some other services. There is Siren Marine, which has a similar setup, a little unit that you attach to the boat. It's got GPS. It's got all of the different trackings where you can see what's going on with the systems of the boat. As long as it's a newer boat where things are digital, that can work. So those are some interesting options when you're leaving your boat in a marina to still have as close to visual tabs on it. In some cases, even better. But the cost for sure, it's significant cost difference. It's under a beach house, but I feel like I can't keep an eye on it at the house while I'm working. Um, yeah, so that's my brother and sister have a security company that they run back in Nebraska, and so cameras some of the cameras, even as simple as like the Nest and the Ring cameras, can be nice tools as well if you like that visual. But you can often, if a Wi-Fi's or if the Marina's got Wi-Fi, you can set those types of things up at the Marina too, and you got best of everything. If money's not an issue, please just pickle juice. Talking about politicians crooked as a dog's hind leg. That's about right. You're welcome, Danny, and thanks for everybody that added into the conversation for Danny, trying to lead him down the best path. Like I said, I don't think you can go wrong with the Jetboat. I just think the Outboard's a better fit from what you said. Sucked one up. Yes, yeah, it is. It is a danger that, matter of fact, in our boater boot camp, it's one of the things that I talk about is, hey, you got to pay attention to the temperature gauge because it can be as simple as sucking up a plastic bag that can ruin a day, ruin not only a day, but ruin your engine, ruin everything. Whereas if you just come back to idle and raise your motor up, often that suction decreases enough that it falls away, or you're like, oh, there's a plastic bag there, and you can get that figured out. But if you don't know to look for those types of things, it can also, if gone unattended, it can go into limp mode or worse, blow your engine, and now you're out of luck for the rest of the season with a several $1,000 bill. So those are the types of things when I tell boaters in my ads, I'm like, it's the things you don't know is why you need this boater boot camp and why you need my programs. This one's free, but is there's just so many things that in boating, you too many people learn the hard way and the expensive way, and so that's what we're here trying to help. Um, so no fresh water, no salt. All right, Jason, what were we talking about? Okay, yeah, Jason, you were the Kansas City guy. Um, yeah, then I wouldn't worry about it a bit. I wouldn't worry about it one bit. Leave that motor up, and you'll be, if you're using it, so if you're using it every week or two, you're going to be totally fine. Um, that's yeah, that is, it's scary. I actually let me show you this. Let's see if I can find this back. So this is a I have this crazy irrational fear of um, my daughters. They always want to swim without their life jackets on, and I'm not comfortable with it. Yeah, obviously, when they're on the boat, when we're running, they've always got them on. But when we're just swimming off the docks or something, they're getting old enough now where they don't think they need them on all the time. But I saw the swim safety, like even something as little as the color of their bathing suit can make it easier to kind of see them in the water, know what's going on for if they're doing water sports or whatever. For the life of me, I can't understand why life jacket companies aren't making the life jackets, the top shoulders, red, orange, yellow, pink, purple, these colors that are easy to see, especially in the water, in the lake water, where you can actually easily see them versus they all do black, and it's hard to see a little head bobbing when it's black. But if it was yellow or orange or purple or pink, or pink, I guess it would be so much easier. And it's those kind of things, letting young kids ride jet skis that have no business riding them. Just I don't know. I never thought of myself as a worrier, but when you got kids, that all changes, I guess. What are your thoughts on seaborne boats? Don't see them. Al, I do not know anything about them. I have not inspected one. I've I know about them. I've heard the name, but I don't even have a um, opinion to share. When I look at it, versatile style, value, just a few things, defining ideas behind her family friendly center console, ranging from 22, 26, capable shallow water. So versatility, style, and value. When I see that value line in the marketing, it tells me it's probably a mid-tier, maybe down to a value boat. Looking at it, I'm going to say probably. Let me get a shot. Another thing that you can look at is, and this has nothing to do with quality of construction. This has to do with the price point. There's some quality of construction things I just can't tell from pictures, but when I look at the lines of the boat, and everything's pretty straight, pretty simple, it tends to lean towards the value category. Um, I'm seeing stainless steel through hulls, which is good. I'm trying to get a picture of, there we go. I'm trying to get, yeah. So if you look at the thickness of the cushions, that's another really good indication. I've got, so I did this at the boat show. And I take my little sweet tape measure here and I measure the seats. When the cushion is between 3.5 to 4 inches, that tends to be a premium type boat. When it's between 2.5 and 3.5 thick, that tends to be sort of a mid-tier. And when it's 2 to 2.5, that tends to be a value. Now, just looking at this, these look to be maybe 2.5 inches thick, maybe only 2. If you look up here by the foot, you can kind of see that it's not. Let me go bigger. It's not super thick. Stainless steel, which is good. That looks to be painted fiberglass there. Not a big deal, but it is the cheaper way to go, where that tells me there's not a liner in the boat. It's deck and hull put together, whereas some of the boats, they have a deck, a hull, and then they've got an interior liner, which gets you a 3-piece boat, which means that you've got a little bit more structural integrity. And because you've got that third piece, that liner they also put the finish side up, the gel coat side up. So now in your compartments, for the most part, they're finished fiberglass. So that tells me that this is only a 2-piece boat, and that is painted fiberglass is what it looks like from here. Hinges, 2 hinges there, stainless steel, that looks good. Gaskets around, that's another thing that I look at, and you can see there's this interior gasket, but there's really no gasket on the lid to seal it, to keep water out. That inserts plastic with just some basic screws. Again, it's not the worst thing, but it's an indication of probably mid-tier to value on the boat. Again, another sort of plastic insert. This is that gasket that I'm talking about. See that gasket there? That's gonna mash up against here when it closes, and it's gonna keep the water out. That's a pretty thin gasket. It's not super thick, but at least it's there, especially on the battery section. So that's a good sign. Nice gas assist. Looks like a plastic cutout. And the reason I notate between plastic and finished fiberglass is over time, plastic's going to deteriorate. The heat, the sun, the UV rays, all of that can cause not problems, deterioration over time. And sometimes it's hard to tell without actually touching and opening things. You can get a good sense of quality when you do that. It's kind of hard to see the thickness of the cushion there. Bait well in the bow. Let's get that weight up there. But it's going to get smashed around a little bit. Yeah, so it's, it's the center there's so many center console brands, but I'm going to say it's probably a lower mid tier to a now probably lower mid tier is where I would go. I saw some good stuff. I saw some things where, hey, they're cutting the cost a little bit. But Al, remember this: when I say even if it's a value, that doesn't make it a bad boat. It doesn't make it an unsafe boat. It just means that they're doing things to keep the cost down for you as the buyer. So if I can give you a nice safe boat that the seats aren't as plush, if I can give you a nice safe boat and we don't put all the contours and we don't put all the shear lines that make it more expensive to build, I can sell that boat to you for less money. It's still a safe boat. I can't pound on the fiberglass. I can't feel how thick that is. You can do that. Watch my other videos and you can learn how to do it yourself. But then also, a 24-foot center console at $100,000. Well, and that's nationally advertised with a 300. Well, what are other 24-foot center consoles? So let's look at a 24-foot. Who does nationally advertised price? Sportsman boat. I don't know if their masters are nationally advertised or not. Pricing. So with a 300, a Sportsman's 106, MSRP of 147, and there's all sorts of options that we haven't put on. So that's another way you can tell. And then also, is a Sportsman 247. How does that compare when you look at the specs? So 24 foot, 4 inches, 8.5 beam, dry weight 3,100. What are so 23.9, so a little shorter, 102 beam, which is same beam, max horsepower 300. So the transom's not as stout. Dry weight 2,600 pounds. So this boat's 500 pounds less. So what that tells me is Sportsman's using more and heavier material. Okay. So it's not definitive in itself, but with everything else I saw, say Sportsman's a better quality build than the Seabourn. So that's just how I think through it. And again, I want to be very clear. Doesn't mean that's a boat you shouldn't buy. Doesn't mean that it's a cheaply made boat and things are going to break. It means that they built the boat to be at a price point to give more boat for the money So they got to cut some things out. Can't use as much fiberglass, can't use as much resin, don't use as heavy grade of material. That 500 pounds has come out for some reason or another. And they've just taken it out, a couple pounds here, a couple dollars there. And that's how you get to be $20,000 less than a comparable boat. So hopefully that makes sense for you. Saw a video on YouTube, local news station, Wisconsin, reporting smaller lakes, Wisconsin are trying to outlaw surf boats because they cause shoreline damage. Yeah, there is. You're welcome, Chris. You are very welcome. Yeah, they're Vermont. I think it's Vermont. Big boat. Yeah, Vermont has passed a law back in April about it. Oregon, maybe Washington or Oregon, maybe both. So you're seeing it. You're seeing it all over the place. Kajabi stopped loading. Ray, shoot me an email. We switched over. Kajabi's kind of our backup system for all of our trainings, but shoot me an email. I'll make sure that you're in our new system. That's training.boatersecretweapon.com. I'll have to look to see if you're in the system there. But if not, I'll add you to the system and move you over to that. That's where we've moved all of our new courses free, the toolkit, the Boater Secret Weapon, the Boater Boot Camp, the Coastal Boot Camp, all of that is over in that new training site. So, but the Kajabi should still be active. Everything's still there because I use that for some other stuff. Want to outlaw lakes under 1,500 acres. Other states worked up. Yes, very much so. It tends to be the smaller lake areas, and you're seeing like HOAs get involved and passing restrictions where they're saying from this hour to this hour you can do it. In this designated area you can surf. They're approaching it in a number of different ways. And then let's see, what is it? Water Ski Association of USA Water Ski they've got an outline of a bill that they're shopping around to say, hey, we agree surfers can do a better job, but let's not go overboard. Let's not go over the top and restrict things that are just, you don't get it. You're not a boater. You don't get it because there's, Chris's 40-foot Sundancer that he's going to buy is going to put out as big, if not a bigger wake in some situations than a surf boat. Now, Chris isn't going to be going back and forth in front of the same shoreline for 8 hours. But they're trying to get the rules written in a way that makes sense and still allow access to boaters or surfers, and not have a couple of surfers that are inconsiderate ruin it for everybody. And it's an ongoing battle. They've got conferences, and it's actually, this is the consumer side, but there's a U.S. I've interviewed the president of it, but I don't know why I'm not finding it. Anyway, but yes, it's something that the whole country is dealing with. Eric, you're welcome. Money's no issue. And you're right. If there's a dry stack, if it's a dry stack marina, that's all the better. That's all the better. Michaela, you were famous for just a moment earlier today. I had this picture of you and your husband Hopefully you guys were out on the water. All right. Yeah, agreed that the longevity of the Yamaha outboard over the Jetboat, for sure. Interesting time since the last I rode out a storm in a cove that was pretty bad. Handled 2 3 footers on the lake coming at the side. Also learning how to drive like a drunk in a car trying to drive in. Yeah, dodging that debris when the rain comes and you've got logs and branches and sticks and docks and yeah, you got to keep an eye out and keep that speed down for sure. Matt, just wanted to say thanks for doing all the videos. Purchased first boat and love it. Watched a ton of your stuff before and after buying. Sun Tracker 20, perfect for my 4 kids. Awesome, Eric. I would really appreciate one if you would send me a picture. I like to show pictures during the lives and in my newsletters and stuff. And two, if you would go to, I'm trying. Let's see if I can pull this up. I am getting there, but I'm trying to hit 100 reviews. I don't know if you can see that or not, but we are at 90 reviews. I don't know. Let's see. I'm not 100% that we've got all 5 stars, um, but I think we do. Oh, we got a 3 star. Pretty lame. Good information for beginners, but not detailed enough. I think that was a boot camp guy. 4 star from TJ, and then everybody else. So we got a 3 star, a 4 star, and the rest are 5 stars. So anybody, I'm trying to get to 100. I don't know why. That's just in my head. I would appreciate anybody that just search Boater's Secret Weapon review, and you can uh, just click on there and you can add a review. This is the management page, so I don't. Here, I don't know if I can. I'll put that in the comments. If anybody wants to do it, it would be appreciated. And just give an honest review. The biggest issue is people think I'm a scammer. It's on the internet. They think I'm not a real person. I'm a scammer. I even get it from people that have like gotten the boot camp and they get. I had one guy. One of my videos had a glitch in it. For some reason, it was showing everywhere but on iPhones. If you watched it on an iPhone with the latest update version, it aired out. And this guy said, I knew you were a scam. I'm like, yeah, I'm such a scammer that I put 2 hour-long videos up that I gave you for free. And one of the 2 aired out and you couldn't watch it. Like, yeah, I'm so scammy that I'm making it look almost real. Drives me crazy. Drives me crazy. But anyway, if anybody wants to leave a review, it'd be very, very much appreciated. Um, and you can see that in the comments. Let's see if it came through. Yeah. Actually, I don't know if you'll be able to copy and paste that or not. It might be easier just to search Boater Secret Weapon reviews and get it that way. All right. See, it's now we're at an hour and a half here, and I haven't done this for so long that like I'm like, this is why I miss it. All right, let's see if we can get to everybody else here. Eric, you're very welcome. Love to hear it. Um, 90. Okay, so I needed to search a different year. Anyone any problems with late model boat transducers? 23 cobalt, 30 hours, late temp reading wrong. Warranty process started. Quick tips. I would think, depending on what it's doing, um, one, I would think bad connection. It's a through haul. bad connection or maybe a weird setting where it's not set to read properly, the water temp. The other thing is, Dave, did they paint it? So I would think that the dealer would catch that right away. Is um, if you paint a transducer, that can be problematic because it's not able to shoot its rays down quick enough or whatever. That would be one issue. Two, I would think maybe some sort of connection. Three, I would think some sort of setting on the whatever your screen is. That I'm not sure what Cobalt's using now for their screens. And then four, a faulty transducer. It can happen. It certainly can happen. And I think, like, this is a theory I have. It hasn't been proven yet, right or wrong. But boats that were built in 22 and 23 are using components that were built in 2021, 22 with raw materials from the heart of the pandemic. So here's the theory that's in my head is stuff that's built in 22, 23, and maybe even 24 could be using components that were made with not faulty, but maybe inferior materials, causing problems for some of the newer stuff. I don't have any data to support it. It's just the way my brain works, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if that's going to happen. I haven't been seeing any of that kind of stuff. And as we learned from Jerry, that stuff on newer boats can break, and sometimes manufacturers aren't always up to the challenge of supporting their products the way I think and probably you guys think they should be. But those would be, I would go down that path. If you painted, take that paint off, that could fix it. Two, look at the wiring. Three, check your settings on your system to make sure it's not reading in, metric versus feet, that it doesn't have a large adjustment for placement of the transducer. Dave, I don't know, you've had this boat for a little while. I'm not sure if it just started or not, but there's a setting that says this transducer is maybe not set at the keel. It's set a little bit higher. So I need to adjust 6 inches so that it reads from that point. Sometimes that setting can go from the 6 inches and it can be moved to like 3 feet or something weird, because it's deep into the settings where they need to do it, or just a bad connection could be a problem. But certainly a faulty sensor, a faulty transducer is something that they should be able to swap out pretty easily when they have the boat. So a pontoon turned into a submarine during Thunder Run right in front of me, completely out of the water. You got to keep that weight in the back, keep the weight in the back, keep the trim up just a little bit, and don't pull. I teach this in the pontoon version of the Best Boat Captain, is never going through rough water. Pull that throttle back quickly when you're in heavy chop, because you'll pull that throttle off, your nose will settle down, and boom, you'll submarine right into the water. And make sure you have your weight distribution right towards the back, the rougher it is. It's also fun just to hang out the evenings. Yeah, for sure. The social aspect of a marina is 100% part of the experience. Hello? Oh, thought somebody was trying to come in. Boatel with the forklift, schedule in advance. But you do miss out a little bit on that social aspect, unless they've got like a yacht club kind of feel with the pool and things like that. Lake Taps. So Chad, you may not know this, but I like to look at all of the bodies of water that people on the lives enjoy. Ah, yes. That's kind of interesting. All the islands around. Yeah, that's beautiful. There's just that. I love that picture. That is awesome. Yeah, we've got great weather here. We've got a long season, but we don't have that view for sure. Um, that, I like that idea right there. Although I talked about this. I was on for anybody that knows Captain Boomy's. She's like a real influencer. She does great videos and she does adventures. And I told her, I'm like, my wife said I can do this. I can keep doing this, but we are not broadcasting our boating life. When we're on the boat as a family, we're on the boat as a family, and I am Dad. I am not Captain Matt. and, and so I'd have to get her approval to come live from the swim platform. But I like the way you're thinking. Um, 3 deaths in Cumberland this year. Um, yeah, it's crazy. It is um, crazy how quickly things can go south for sure. Um, Washington State. Part of composite research made in Georgia. Um, Sundance. Yeah. Yeah. And that's, Rod, you know, there's a boat made for everybody. Not everybody drives I always use the Denali. Not everybody gets the Denali. Some people, the Kia is exactly what they want and need. It fits their budget, does everything they need, but it's just not the same. Doesn't make it bad. It just makes it not the same. And um, I don't. I never want to hurt feelings, and I think there's a boat for everybody. Um, but also there's a reality of the situation that some boats are built better than others. Um, I didn't realize that they were built near you down there. Um, yeah, and there's so many. There's so many different brands, especially when you get into the center consoles and the flats boats. Bought a Bayliner VR5 Merc Cruiser. Um, Feels like it takes a while to plane. I, Stephen, I don't like adding that kind of stuff on. It weakens the anti cavitation, the anti ventilation plate. It's what I would do is think about where your weight distribution is on the boat. Maybe put a little bit more weight up in the bow. And when you look at the boat, come on. So when you've got everybody sitting, if everybody's sitting in the back, put even just a body transferring 150, 200 pounds up from the back into the bow can make a huge difference in getting on plane. I would much rather do something like that than putting on the hydrofoil, because once you put that on, one, you're opening yourself up to cracking the mounting spot. if you're not real cautious with it, it's no matter what, you're putting micro cracks in it, which means that at some point down the line, if you do hit a log or if you do hit something, it's more likely to crack on you and break, causing other problems. It's going to add drag to you, so it's going to slow you down a little bit. Yeah, it could give you a little bit quicker up on plane, but so could just redistributing the weight a little bit differently. Maybe put some of the gear that you have back here up in the bow. Get some of the anchor. Make sure that's up in the very front of the bow. Put any of your tools that you have back there. Put those up in the bow. Just any shift in weight from the back to the front is going to help you get on plane quicker. And it really doesn't take a whole lot to adjust that distribution. I think that's a much better fix than adding the whale tail type things. In my opinion, I also am a very much of a stock person. My truck is stock. I don't do a lot of add-on stuff. So some of it is just a personal preference, but that's my thought. All right, good deal. Thank you guys. I always appreciate Chris with the 2 and the 10 and Rod, Jerry, Bo, or Saint, as you guys know him. Very, very much appreciated. All right, now I lost my spot. Also remember, yes, yes, the dealer is like, once you figure out what category you're in, am I a premium buyer? Am I a value buyer? Am I a mid-tier buyer? Like, where am I in the whole scheme of things? What layouts do I like? That should narrow you down to a handful of brands and models. And now I want to look at what dealer in my local market area is going to support me the best. What dealer in my local market area is convenient? Do I get along with? Has the best reputation? Has the best, I'm trying to get to 100 Google reviews, just because, hey, people that if they have a problem, they're going to put it out there. And I don't want to go to a business that has a bunch of problems out in the world. I want to see how they respond as a dealer to their negative and positive reviews. That type of thing is important. And so the dealer is as important, if not even a touch more important than the brand, especially when you're within the same category. The dealer is more important once you're in that same category. Looking at Sportsman, also like Seaborn, the Step Tall. Yeah, and it's, there are a ton of 24-foot there are a ton of that style of boat, that brand of boat, and you can certainly find one that's going to fit the budget, a good dealer in your area, all that. Yeah, I inspect anytime I walk by a boat, anytime I walk down a marina, I'm looking at boats, looking at some of the details that I know are areas that break commonly. I look for how do hatches match up. Are they all cockeyed, or is everything matching up right? What's not working right? It's a good indication of what your experience is going to be in the first 5 years. Eric, thank you very much. I much appreciated. Drove the boat for the second time yesterday. Had to learn real quick how to handle rough wakes. Hey, that's how the experience. The best boat captain program, as good as it is, if you don't get out there and get at the helm and actually sit there and not put yourself in dangerous situations, but stretch stretched. Now you know you've been through that. I can handle it. Next time you'll be that much more comfortable, that much safer. Next time a worse storm rolls up, be like, we did this last time and didn't go great. Let's do it this way from the start, or let's pull into the cove a little sooner. Also, hey, let's watch the weather. Let's have our weather app on our phone, our radar app, and just pay attention to that, because we know how quickly things can turn, and a front just, oh crap, where'd that come from? And all that stuff makes us better boaters over time as well. That experience for sure. Great thoughts on supply chain. Gags is simple toggles. No paint on the transducer. Not a problem. That's that for sure is. Hey, I can get by. I can get by with a depth finder that's not working exactly right. And by July, hey, water temperature's warm enough for me to get in. That's all I need to know. So yeah, I don't know how accurate my supply chain theory is, but we'll monitor the situation. Agree that assumption regarding materials. Yep. Couple cushions that need to replace. My dealer for that support. Again, dealer being a very, very important part. Sustainability's got a Bennington Q, a real nice boat. Which, hey, by the way, sustainability, I have not seen this boat yet, but I wonder if you had seen it out in your neck of the woods. But this is a new pontoon brand that's popped up. Ultra luxury is what they're pitching. And I don't know how many dealers they have. I don't know anything about them. But I'm hoping to see one at some point. So let me know. Let me know if sustainability, if you come across them, because I know you're looking. I know that the itch is happening. Maybe we'll get through this year. Maybe you won't. But I know that that your eyes are always on the lookout for something cool. So there you go. Yeah, just get that one perfect person that's like 125. That should be enough weight. Get them right up in that bow seat. You'll be good to go. Watch your past live mini videos. My first time joining. Awesome. Glad that not only you joined, but you asked some questions, and you got some good value out of it. Much appreciated, Jason. Torn between Sea Pro, Tidewater, Yamaha Fish. Price difference between the first two and the last is almost 40K. Taking the boat out of Savannah. Any suggestions? Yeah. So when you're at the coast, I know it's tempting to go for that Yamaha for the outboard. Just know that when you get in the chop, if you get even a little bit offshore, that the inability to trim, that inability to trim can be problematic. At best, more uncomfortable. At worst, dangerous probably isn't the right word, as long as a big storm doesn't come up. But more likely to take a wave over the bow, because you can't adjust that angle of the bow and get that nose up. And yeah, it's tempting, but I think unless you're just running around in the rivers and the brackish water around there in Savannah, and not going offshore, more than, I say a mile is kind of my, like, all right, you're fine with the mile, you're good. But there's that aspect of it. I don't think people realize the major difference between running a 22 fish, and a 22 center console with the Yamaha 150 or 200. I would encourage, Honey Badger, I would encourage you to run one, maybe go to like Boat Setter or Get My Boat and go run one in the types of conditions so that you can get a sense of it. And then, maybe you've already been on a center console outboard, but it's I think too often people go into that Yamaha expecting one thing and then they're really surprised. So the C Pro, the Tidewater, the quality I would say is probably Yamaha. Yamaha is definitely mid tier. The C Pro, Tidewater, probably similar. I put Yamaha just a little bit lower quality wise as well. And I sold them for a number of years. And there's little things that they do, just like I talked about on the Seaborn, that hey, they're doing this, that, and the other to keep that price down. Yamaha does the same thing, and there's 20 different things I could point to say, look how they do this. They do it because it's cheaper, but here's the issues that it'll cause 5 years down the line. When you look at the thickness of their cushion, I would venture to say that their cushions are a little bit thinner than the others. Not only are they thinner, if you were to take that cushion out and actually look at it, the type and the quality of the foam is different as well. Those types of things that you really got to dig in to see the difference. And that's a lot of where that 40,000 is coming in addition to the power plant, that Yamaha engine and drive system. It's cheaper to build. It's not going to give you as good of experience. In my opinion, if you're going out, if you're going offshore at all. So take that for what it's worth. 17 Invader, 150 Mariner, Hudson Lake next weekend. There we go. There, that's what I thought I was looking for earlier. I love it. Very nice, very nice. Honey Badger. Rod has a good dealership down in Brunswick area. Um, that if you want to look up, it's Ellis Marine. I think those are some of the brands he carries, but uh, we're definitely a good resource for you. So great feeling when you have a couple hundred people watching. And you did it like a champ. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, they see a 27-foot pontoon and they're like, "This is a disaster. I can't wait to see what's going to hit first, the motor or the bow." Uh, that's a good feeling. That's a good feeling when you whip it around, do it with calm ease, and look like a pro. That's awesome. I love it. I think that's a great place to stop. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you joining. Um, if so, here's what I'm going to do is I may just on a whim, a rainy day, we got nothing going on. I may do a Sunday live in the future at 8:30, 9 o'clock. If you see it up there, I'm on. But don't rush home from the lake. Don't rush home from the water trying to get on the live at 8:30 because there's a good chance I won't be here. But thank you guys so much for all the support. I mean, this is the third year that we've been doing it, and I really really enjoy it. I'm not going away. I'm just taking a hiatus and making a new live plan. But I do like that. Come back when the school year kicks on. That could be the answer. Stay tuned. I appreciate it, everybody. Thank you for the contributions. Thank you for the birthday wishes. And yeah, that's right. Jason 211's got a C Pro No, C Fox. You got a C Fox, right? 248. Yeah, C Fox. That he runs on Lake Cumberland in Georgia. But thank you guys. Appreciate. Haven't seen it yet. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to get one. And hey, I appreciate everybody. Have a great week, and we will see you on the next live whenever that is. And have a good one, everybody. Oh, happy 4th. Happy 4th. Oh, Honey Badger, thank you very much. Coastal where I'd be occasionally going a few miles. Thanks. Yeah, for sure. There you should have some, let's see, I don't know. I know the guys at the Marine Max in Thunderbolt. But I don't know what they have there now. I think they've got Scout and Whaler. I'm not sure if they've got anything different. But I know Chet over there is a good guy as well. That would be worth talking to. So I appreciate that, Honey Badger, and take care, everybody. Good night.